Hi everybody, this is Sahayata and I'm back again with another podcast with someone very cool and special. This is my childhood friend, Aryaendra Shekhar. He's the lead vocalist of the Western Guard band. I don't know if you've heard their music, but if you have, like me, you'll be their fan for life. Because their music is just so good, and I thought we should talk to him about his life and this whole band and how did it come to picture. So I'm very excited, and thank you Rigu, thank you Aryaendra for doing this with me.
So glad Sayata. Yes.
So the first question that I want to talk about is that what inspired you to dream this career in music, and how did this band come together? Because I've known you from childhood and I know that you always used to sing, but how did this become, really a career option for you?
Okay. So music is, as you've already known, is all I've always wanted to do. And starting out obviously with you guys and in the playing in the same church and everything, it just came naturally that I wanted to play in front of an audience, and that always just sparked that piqued my interest. So I've always wanted to play music, and that's how I I just knew that I had to go for it. There are no questions about it.
Because you were so good at it, I must say.
I mean, people liked it. And I was in that zone as well, where I wanted to do music, even if I had to really take up another career just to support it. I've always had that option inside of me.
Right.
So I've always wanted to take up music, and that's the plain basic answer to what inspired me.
Right.
And to talk about the band, so Western Ghats was was not a very planned thing. I wanted to actually be a singer-songwriter in the beginning, all on my own.
You wanted to go solo?
Yeah, all on my own. And I was actually doing a lot of gigs in Pune. I was while I was in college, I was doing a lot of gigs, and I was playing across Pune, and good money, good friends, and everybody knowing in the circuit.
Correct.
So the vibe was nice, but there's a ceiling that you hit very quickly when you're not doing your original stuff. And at that time, I did not know how to produce. And production is a very strong, very, very important part of music. So while I was learning production, I met with Sunil. Obviously, Sunil is the producer for the Western Ghats, and he reached out to me. He told me bro, let's start a band, and we got into it. And I just thought let's give it a shot, and it started working. We put out our first original, people started streaming, and thank you to everybody who's listened to our music, and it's just been going from there. So
okay, so how does it go around being a band? Are you all in the same city? How do you coordinate with people? Just say obviously we're all young and we're all into I'm sure different careers also at the same time. And for all of you to make out time or come for a gig, is it all smooth, or how does it go? Because I think जिनका band नहीं होता है, they all think about it कि how does it all really work out? क्योंकि हम लोग सिर्फ one direction को देखते हैं, हम सोचते हैं but we would like to know a practical answer from you. How do you guys get along?
So bands are a very complicated machinery. Firstly, let's just put that out there.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to make a band, but the logistics of it are massive.
Correct.
So getting everybody in the same place, and getting everybody aligned to the same vision, same goal, and the vibes have to match. The people have to not kill each other.
And you being the lead vocalist, I'm sure pressure लगता होगा that everything should fall in place.
Obviously the pressure is there, and all eyes are on you at a point, even though the entire band is responsible for the sound, but people would just put you on the pedestal sometimes, and they would expect you to be a certain way as a lead vocalist. So there are those pressures, but I think the entire band has a lot of pressure on them. So again, coming back to your question, the logistics of it are really hard, but if you really want to do it, if you really that's what your fire is for inside of you, I mean, you can definitely go for it, and find the people who are like-minded, find the people who vibe with you, who believe in you, believe in your stuff, and if you find those people, just go for it, and I think it can work.
Wow, so that is possible. And the next question that I want to ask you is that जैसे हम सबके लाइफ में कोई ना कोई एक मोमेंट आता है where we feel like this is it, this is what I want to do. और अगर मैं ये करता हूँ तो at that time I'm on like cloud 10. But there's nothing that gives me that kind of a high, right? It's like a experience or a moment. It could be anything. For some people it's like मैंने एक quote पढ़ा था, मैंने किसी ने मुझे कुछ बोला था, मैंने कुछ, मतलब it's different for everybody. But it has been a moment for them to then get into something which is like their life purpose.
Right.
And what is that for you? How did this happen to you? Because मैं आपको बहुत पहले से जानती हूँ. I've seen your journey. तो कुछ तो ऐसा होगा where we also thought कि bro, what is Aryan doing and what has inspired him to go like this? So
okay. So I think pointing out at one pivotal moment is a little hard. I think it's a combination of a lot of them, but I can definitely share a very strong moment with you where I felt like, okay man, like this is working for me. I'm doing this and I'm loving this. Like, every bit of it, that every little bit of challenge or whatever comes in your way, it's all worth it because of that one moment. So that one moment would be when we had released our song. It's called 1,000 Miles. If you haven't heard, it's a plug. Listen to it. All right. Yes, listen to that song. And so somebody who was a fan at that time and who listened to our just released song called 1,000 Miles, they put up one of the lyrics from the song as their bio on their Instagram. And I think that was a moment that really hit me hard because you are sometimes just sitting in your own room, right. You're making your own music and you don't think you don't expect it to reach anywhere.
Yeah.
You're like, dude, okay, I'm just making this, I'll just make this for myself. And I think that's the most important thing about making music. Don't have expectations in the beginning, right. Because it's a really hard process then if you have expectations from the beginning. So that's how everybody does it, without any expectations. Right. So did I. So when somebody put that in their bio, I was like, dude, I'm affecting this person's life enough to have that lyric on
Instagram bio.
Yeah, Instagram bio. My bio is it's like a what do you say? It's like a canvas where I can just
right.
talk about my life in an instant. What do I do? My band. What do I do? Like singer-songwriter. So that kind of stuff goes on my bio, and if that person has that lyric, that's impacted his life so
Absolutely.
much. So that impact is very important. I think that.
And I'm sure your music has that effect on people. The quality of music कि कोई अपने bio पे डाल रहा है.
I really hope that
I don't want to take other names, but कुछ गाने होते हैं ना, it will have no impact on you or something. Nobody would, but I'm sure you have put that effort in.
I think a lot of times, as I've always said, music does not come from within any of us, it comes from above, and you really need to capture it in the moment. And
because I would also agree here that आपका music कुछ ऐसा है कि if you're going for a vacation, okay, you're having your happiest moment, you would want to listen to your music. And if you're also having a moment and you would want to listen to that music, कुछ तो है जो आपको choose कर रहा है, आप choose कर रहे हो to listen to this,
right?
Maybe because of the way it is, something about it is helping you.
I agree.
So
I agree.
I'm sure. So that's a very, very nice experience that you've shared about it. Next, we'll go a bit serious about this whole thing. See, serious in the sense, of course, किसी की भी life easy नहीं होती है. Life is not easy. Yeah. Life happens to everybody, right. No matter how shiny and nice it looks on Instagram.
Look from outside.
जी.
Agreed. Yeah.
So क्या होता है कि जो young generation होती है, they have their own struggles going on. For example, some people have a lot of money, but then they have something else. Some people don't have money. Some people have parental pressures to choose careers. क्या होता है, बहुत सारे challenges होते हैं. And now you have a dream. Okay, I want to do this. I want to do this.
Yeah.
लेकिन जो struggles होते हैं.
Right.
So now that you have almost started walking towards that journey and
still not made it, guys.
Yeah, but
let's keep it. Yeah,
you've done it enough to inspire somebody to take that step.
You're always working towards the bigger goal.
Yes.
So always.
So ऐसे क्या struggles आपने face किए और कैसे overcome किया? How did you overcome it also? कि नहीं, I will not give into this. I'll not give up on this. क्योंकि I'm sure कुछ तो setbacks आए रहेंगे. तो what is it?
So I think the biggest challenge was the societal pressure. Music is not something that pays you well in the beginning to like, you know,
Sorry.
to have a like to have as a career option. So like the
Especially tell us about where you come from also.
yeah, so I mean
ऐसा तो नहीं है कि हम कैलिफोर्निया में थे और वहाँ पे अपनी म्यूजिक स्टार्ट किया.
exactly. I'm like, so Sahayata, I've played so much in your like in Daniel's church, your church,
Yes,
like, you know,
yes.
we've had
We started
that
together with this band JBC. You were
JVC.
also singing with us.
I was a
exactly
part
right.
of JVC for a brief period, so
Yeah,
a little, I mean,
very
don't
brief.
very brief period.
But it was golden moments.
But very good times.
Yeah.
So I mean, we all started there, and coming from a Christian background, the acceptance of music there is like a lot more, and like, you know, people
And there's
are
more. We respect more actually.
People respect music more over there.
True that.
And I come from a Hindu background, and like, you know, in my family music is not really something. हमारे यहाँ भजन कीर्तन होता है,
हाँ,
basic,
तो
and like
उसका sense वही है.
otherwise they listen to music on like
शादी.
like normal जो गाने हैं, Bollywood के गाने, that is what is played. And like, to really prove your worth in music, you have to like, you know, be either that big or like you stay away from it. That's the perspective. That's what people feel. So like, as like coming from a background
Yes.
where music is not really like, you know, a thing that people already know about, and like not know about, people listen to music, but live music playing and all that is not a normal thing. Like, you know,
Only in the past few years it has
exactly.
still become a normal thing.
Yeah, it's
when
become
you started.
exactly. वो time पे it was a little more not a taboo, but like definitely not something that parents want their children to like, you know, really take up as a career.
Right.
Maybe take up as a hobby. They love that when you sing in front of your relatives. they love that. But like, you know, singing for a crowd and like, you know, expecting to make money.
It's more like doctor, engineer,
Exactly.
ये सब mainstream careers.
So that was the biggest challenge, and like, you know, convincing my parents, my mom, my elder sister. My mom being a single mother,
Yeah.
she like really she's always wanted what's best for me.
Right.
So making sure that she shares the same vision as me, and like, you know, just making sure that she understands what I'm doing.
And what about your sister?
My sister has been really supportive actually,
Oh.
so I've had it really good there. But like my mom, she was a little skeptical in the beginning. So when I got my first paycheck and I sent her the like screenshot of my first gig in my college days, I sent her the picture of it. It was about two grand or something, and then she was like, okay, maybe you can make money from
कुछ
this.
तो
कुछ तो
इसमें
है, पैसा है. So like when that first paycheck I was able to show her, that was a very big moment for me, and like, you know, for her also, I think
Wow.
she changed after that. She became a little more accepting, and then after a point, like today, she proudly tells all the relatives that they like, you know, she sends my videos to them. Watch this. He came out with a new song and everything.
Wow.
So it's been a long road to come here, but that was the biggest challenge. I mean, from a societal perspective.
But how did you sustain yourself through that? Like, of course, financially, like you said, music
Yeah.
doesn't pay you well. So how
Yeah.
did you work twice as hard for this? Because it was
you gotta work twice as hard, dude. Like if you want to take up something that you are passionate about, you anyway, like, you know, you have that energy to work very hard. It's not a thing that you what do you say, like voluntarily, like, you know, focus on doing. Passion really pushes you to work twice as hard anyway.
It's not like
Yeah,
a
you
job.
Exactly, it's not a
You're doing
job.
what you love.
So if I was doing a day job, I was a designer. I still am a designer, but like not a full time. So I was a designer at a point, and like, you know, I was in college. I was doing gigs. I was making music then as well. I was playing music then as well. So like I've worn a lot of hats in my life, and like all the while keeping my main primal focus of like, you know, taking my music career ahead as the main goal.
Wow.
So I mean,
this is really inspiring.
yeah, I mean that's what really hooked me onto it, and I don't think like I think that really comes from within. If you have that fire, if you want to really do it, I think you find ways. I think you make it work.
You just do it then.
Yeah,
you're not going to make excuses.
Exactly. You don't cry about like, you know, certain situations.
Right.
You're like, okay, let's make it work.
Wow. So another question is that you can have a coffee.
Yeah.
So a lot of people, you know, they are like, they come from a very small place. In the sense, they've never seen anyone do something like, उनके लिए भी ऐसा है कि शाहरुख खान या तो शाहरुख खान है या तो फिर हम हैं आम आदमी.
Exactly, correct,
इसके
correct,
बीच
correct.
में कोई बैलेंस ही
कोई
नहीं, और हम
balance
कुछ
नहीं
नहीं बन सकते.
Correct, correct,
हमारे
correct.
पास एक ही ऑप्शन है कि हम वो 9 to 5 जॉब करेंगे.
हाँ.
I am also somebody who works in a school as a teacher, so I know that for
But,
someone like me,
yeah, you doing something like this
yeah,
is so inspiring in itself.
very,
Yeah,
it's
So
very
cool.
different. It's very,
Why are you being
sorry,
shy?
I'm not good at compliments.
Okay, okay.
So it's like मुझे ऐसा लगता है जब वो लोग को मैं कभी बताती हूँ कि I also do this, तो वो थोड़ा सा मतलब ऐसे हो जाते हैं कि ओह मतलब उनके लिए ये एकदम abnormal है कि आप जॉब के बाद ये सब भी सोच लेते हो.
Right, I
No,
agree.
like
Yeah.
वो बड़ा सोच नहीं पाते. You know, they don't dream big. They don't
Exactly.
even believe in doing it.
Right.
Or I'm sure it starts small, but if something is your passion, you know, तो आप hesitant हो जाते हो. जैसे you know me, I come from a place where music होता है. But I've seen a lot of people go where Aryaendra, where I've seen that they just don't have any kind of hope or resource or anything that can make them believe. They want it. जैसे किसी को देखेंगे तो बोलेंगे वाह यार काश हम
वो
भी
मुझे
कर
भी
पाते.
चाहिए. I want that.
I
too,
wish
yeah.
I could have that,
Exactly.
but they don't have that thing to go for it. Maybe जब तुमने गाना स्टार्ट किया किसी ने तुम्हें encourage किया होगा.
Right.
You know, you have this thing and you should do something about it.
Yeah.
So उन लोगों के लिए like would you like to give a message कि you know अगर आप किसी भी चीज में अच्छे हो, for example if you're good at dance or singing, or don't think small of yourself कि नहीं मुझसे नहीं होगा, कोई मुझे support नहीं करेगा, कोई nobody will believe in me, because I'm sure at a point nobody knew you. Nobody would believe in you कि yes you can have a band, you can sustain yourself, the band, and make music. तो ये जो सपने देखने में ना सब लोग नहीं देख पाते हैं. और सब जो देखते भी उन्हें भी डिस्करेज कर देते हैं कि हाँ बहुत ज्यादा उड़ रहे हैं. This is not gonna happen.
This is not gonna happen. I agree. Yeah,
So
that is the
how do
thing.
you tell them कि नहीं, अगर आप young हो, आपके अंदर एक hope है, you go for it, you take those small steps. ऐसा कुछ तुम्हारी लाइफ में ऐसा हुआ था कि you know?
I think trust the process. I think that's the most important thing.
Wow, preaching, bro.
No, really, like, you know, I think I still tell myself that, like, you know, and I've recently, like, you know, started working out. So I mean that's a big thing in my life. So I
flexing.
No, not flexing.
On the podcast.
Not flexing. I'll tell you.
This is a moment, yeah.
I'll tell you. So like, trusting the process is something that comes really hard to us as humans. I mean, you want results very quickly. You do something, you put in work, you want the result instantly. You take back. You want to have that.
Especially our generation.
And people are
don't
like,
have patience.
वो real वाली generation, like you want instant gratification, and that is something that you are not going to get in life. Nobody is.
Ouch.
You gotta, like, I mean you gotta put in the work, and if you're expecting to see results quickly, I mean, don't do something that you really love, because you'll end up hating it. So do something that, like, if you want, like, you know, a basic way of life, just like, you know, guided by somebody who you think can guide your life, or whatever, like, you know, whoever you trust your life with, like, if they have a plan for you, just follow that. Otherwise, if you really want to do what you want to do, I think trust the process, believe in yourself, because skills can be developed, all right, resources can be accumulated, but the drive has to come from within. If the drive is not there, there's no point of it.
That's why so many people, like I said, they have the money.
Yeah,
It's not
people
about
have money, resources, time, everything.
They're like, I don't know what to do.
Exactly, they're not sure. So believe in yourself, like, you know, put in the hard work, like, you know, keep believing in yourself for like tens of years, not 1 year, not 2 years. Like, I'll give you a basic example. So one of my friends is actually in Merchant Navy. So for him to for his career, from being a cadet to being a captain, the trajectory is of about 10 years. All right. But when people talk about like, you know, careers like music, I don't know why they expect like a person to एक गाने में मैं 1 साल के अंदर I want to become famous. एक गाने के अंदर I want to, like, you know, rule the world. मुझे शाहरुख खान बनना है basically.
Because mostly they have that, the musicians have a personality like that.
Exactly.
Which is an attention seeking personality. Okay?
Exactly.
और जब वो नहीं मिलता है, most half of them तो रह रहे हैं मेरे लिए नहीं है शायद.
Then you're doing it for the wrong reasons.
Yeah.
Basically, it's for the wrong reasons. Then, like, you are not really doing music to do music. You want the उसके जो you want the symptoms of it, like, you know, doing music.
Got
like
it.
you know, you
Just
want
the perks of it.
You want the perks of it. You want, like, you know,
समझ
people to recognize you. You're doing it for the wrong reasons. So I mean, if you put in the hard work, you put in your focus, you like, you know, keep at it, like of course, like, you know, upgrade your skills as you go. Like, you know, you can't just expect to have, like, you know, just the drive cannot do everything for you. You need to you need to upgrade your skill set. You need to allocate your life resources to your career as well.
हाँ, like upgrading your skills से मुझे एक question है कि you know क्या होता है, बहुत सारे बॉयज गर्ल्स एक किसी को कीबोर्ड बजाते देखा, गिटार बजाते देखा, लाइक मैं भी करूंगा, बट हाउ डू आई डू दिस, हाउ डू आई गो अबाउट इट, क्योंकि मैं जिस घर से आता हूँ चलो कोई म्यूजिक नहीं है, और मे बी मैं किसी चर्च का भी पार्ट ना हूँ जहाँ मैं यू नो वर्शिप म्यूजिक होता है, कुछ म्यूजिक से रिलेटेड नहीं, बट आई वांट टू डू इट. तो फॉर समवन लाइक यू, हाउ डू यू मेक दैट फर्स्ट बेबी स्टेप कि मैं कर सकता हूँ, नो मैटर हु अराउंड मी इज you know not at all aware. मतलब क्या होता है, क्या you should go for a music class or you should start listening to music, क्या मतलब those practical.
Yeah, you've got it completely right. I think listening to music is the biggest point. Like from if you just talk about music, since we are talking about the bigger picture here, getting back to just the music part of things, I mean, for music you really need to listen to a lot of stuff. You can definitely, like, you know, tune into multiple styles, multiple genres of music, and like, you know, everything that you can possibly get your hands on, and try to sort of, I mean, not I wouldn't say copy, but you learn from copying. Like, you know, first you copy someone and then you reverse engineer the process.
Whoa.
Why did I do that? Okay, when you copy somebody and you reverse engineer it, I think you learn a lot better, and that's why that's been my process.
Correct.
I've literally, like, you know, watched what do you say, like firstly I had inspirations like Bruno Mars, so I wanted to sing like Bruno Mars in like school. So I always, and you guys, Daniel, everybody was pushing me like, dude, this guy,
we're like, you know,
this guy is like Bruno Mars, and like, you know, this guy can sing so high. So that was my thing. Like I kept at it, and I like sort of reverse engineered. I learned the kind of runs he does, and I sort of got that in that time span. Then my inspirations changed to like Coldplay, John Mayer, all that. So I reversed engineered a lot of stuff.
I think we all
have
been on the journey with you.
Yeah,
honestly.
Exactly. So played a lot of stuff, and then I got to learn a lot from copying those people and why are they influenced by this, and then, like, you know, bring those influences but not, like, you know, exact material into your own stuff. And that's when you, like, you know, start bringing your own stuff together. You, like, life is really made of like little experiences that you gain along the way, and that's your particular canvas, right? You pick up something from here, something from there.
You started with covering a lot of songs.
Exactly.
And then you also came to a point where अभी आपका जो music है, I don't think वो जो एक essence है वो किसी में नहीं है now.
I mean, yeah.
You have, like, for example, Kitabo, that song. Like, when you hear it, I've never heard anything else. Something like that.
Yeah.
It's very original.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. That means a lot. I mean, I think that's what is the most important part of
so
it.
I think being
keeping
original
it,
is
keeping it real. Keeping it real. Like, you know, you shouldn't really try to. Obviously, like, you shouldn't try to exactly copy a track. Never go that way. Like, you know, yeah.
Sometimes you hear something and you know, ये तो हमें पता है कहाँ से आ रहा है.
Correct. You hear कि वो inspiration सुनाई दे रहा है. So obviously, sometimes you don't have control over these things, but you should really try to keep it real and keep it as original as possible. So, yeah.
Cool. This is my last question to you. ठीक है. तो आज के टाइम पे मैं बोलना चाहूंगी कि मेंटल हेल्थ हैज बीन अ ह्यूज टॉपिक. जस्ट सेइंग, आई गो अराउंड एंड लाइक अगला बंदा आगे पीछे, एवरीबॉडी स्ट्रगलिंग विद यू नो एंजाइटी इश्यूज, पैनिक अटैक्स. आपको मतलब इतना नॉर्मल हो गया है, ब्रो आई एम डिप्रेस्ड. सो क्या होता है, हम जो म्यूजिक भी सुनते हैं उसका बहुत इम्पैक्ट होता है. मतलब मुझे भी है, मतलब कई बार ऐसा होता है ना, जब हम बहुत खुश हैं, वुड लाइक टू प्ले अ बॉलीवुड सॉन्ग और उस पर हम अपनी फैमिली के साथ नाचते हैं, और जब हम सैड होते हैं तो कभी कभी हम एकदम ही यू नो एकदम ही एडेल सुनने लगेंगे और समथिंग लाइक दैट. जस्ट बीइंग ऑनेस्ट हियर, हम सबके साथ ऐसा होता है. हम सब एक इमोशनली म्यूजिक से कनेक्टेड हैं, और आई थिंक एवरी सॉन्ग हैज एन इम्पैक्ट फॉर यू ऑन यू. और जैसे आप गाने लिख रहे हो, कुछ लोग लिख रहे हैं, आई एम नॉट गोइंग अगेंस्ट पीपल हु आर राइटिंग ओनली अबाउट ओके गो जस्ट एंड योरसेल्फ, आई वांट टू डाई, यू नो, थिंग्स लाइक दैट. ऑफ कोर्स अच्छी बात है यार, फील है, सब है, बट एट द एंड ऑफ द डे देयर इज अ टीनेज जनरेशन आउट देयर, ठीक है, और जो कि बहुत एक्सपोज्ड है टू एन नंबर ऑफ ऑप्शंस, और वो क्या सोचते हैं ना कि हाँ बस यही है, बिकॉज दे डोंट हैव द विजडम. ऑनेस्टली अभी हम लोग 25-26 के आगे बढ़ गए हैं, तो हमें पता है कि भाई ये
थोड़े मैच्योर हो गए,
हाँ ये सही है, ये गलत है. बट आपका म्यूजिक आई थिंक हर बच्चे को, हर बढ़ते हुए यंगस्टर को इंस्पायर करता है. तो ये मेरा क्वेश्चन है कि आपका जो म्यूजिक है, व्हाट इज योर विजन और व्हाट इज योर होल थिंग अबाउट इट, कि अगर मैं कुछ लिख रहा हूँ, क्योंकि मुझे याद है आपका जो एल्बम है, वन ऑफ दैट वाज सेल्फ हेल्प रेडियो, एंड मैं आपको फिर आई वांट टू जस्ट reiterate that whenever I've heard your music, it's only when I'm either very happy, it just adds up to it. तो कुछ तो effort डाला गया है to keep it positive, I feel. It's not bringing you down as a person. So I think वहाँ पे I would love to know कि हमें क्या ऐसा music लिखना चाहिए, because mental health is a thing right now. And maybe somewhere if our music can affect somebody, कि भाई मैं बहुत बुरा फील कर रहा था, मैंने ये गाना सुना, तो मैंने कहा चलो ठीक है, देखते हैं यार, आगे बढ़ते हैं, something like that.
Right. So like just repeating what you said, mental health is like super crucial, especially today, because like we are more disconnected than ever. Like even though we feel like we're connected, like we're connected through like social media, phones, everything. And like
it seems like you're the most happening person जिसके बहुत friends हैं, but that person would know कि मेरा
people are faking their own birthday parties. Getting back to the real question here, I think music has the power. Music has the power to like really inspire people, because I know that firsthand, that when I listen to a track that has so I associate memories of my life with a lot of the songs that I listen to still now. Like so I have a song for my first relation, like my first love, right. And like whenever I listen to that song, that takes me back to that moment when I first met my girl, and like everything. So you always have those things, and music really has the power to like just take you in another space, in another dimension. So you gotta keep in mind, as musicians, I think it's a responsible thing to do, to like write music about mental health in today's day and age. And self-help radio is a very good example of that. It's been taken from a time when I was alone and sad in COVID. So people were disconnected, like, and I was a full-time musician before that, like a full-time musician. Like I was only doing gigs. I had just completed my college. Like it was a year, it had just been a year since I'd completed my college, and I was living in Pune, just doing gigs day in, day out, and like I was making my main money through that. When that stopped, when the money stopped coming in, I mean that was a very dark period for I think all of us, like not just for me. And in that time I just realized that okay, even though like I'm in a very sad space right now, but I got so much out of that time. Like during COVID, I got so much time for myself that I wrote most of the self-help radios tracks. And it's actually
true that people write from a dark place.
You can exactly.
That's why those songs are a little
and they affect you in a certain way. Like now the tracks that we are writing, they're more aligned to like one specific feeling, but those tracks were a little more abstract, and a lot of people could pick up whatever they want from it. And it was so Lechal is a track, is basically it's about like dealing with mortality. It's a part of self-help radio. It's about dealing with mortality, like how you want sometimes just the life to just end, like it's literally about that. But like it's not suicide or like stuff like this is never the option. Never something that you want to do, because like there is so much to life you still to that you have still to explore, that you can't really take that call by yourself. I think it's not in your hands to end your own life. Like
is the biggest gift.
You do not, and you don't owe it to like like basically it's not in your hands to do that to yourself. You can't do that. You can't decide that for yourself.
Thank you for saying that. Actually, that's like it's so common nowadays. Ki, but I'll just gonna end my life for a person or a position or something or some dream. But whatever it is, I think like you said, your life is very precious. And while everything else is happening, this is the most biggest miracle happening with you. Because there are some people who are dying to just live. And you think कि मैं depressed हूँ.
Actually,
there is such a big contradiction out there.
Actually, if you like, it's all about perspective. Today you're like sitting in a corporate office in AC, like earning 6 figures, and you're like, dude, my life has gotten boring. What do I do now? There's no spark in a relationship. There's no spark. You're like, dude, what do I do? My marriage is falling apart. But there are people who are facing things like their partners cheating on them, Like, people are literally
Bro,
like,
forget about that. It's like some
people are
have
getting
food and shelter.
people are getting laid off.
Yeah.
Some people are usse niche agar,
I
if you have
know.
to look, there are people who don't have shelters, who don't have like places to live, who don't have a strong, coming back to relationships,
I know.
people who never find love in their life.
Yeah.
So-
They're just constantly,
Exactly. So you can definitely find a silver lining in every situation that you have, like that you are in. And I think self-help radio is all about that. Like, it's about that feeling of like holding on to the hope, like holding on to the silver lining and looking through it, looking beyond that, and like moving forward. All the while, like all through the adversity and like whatever you're going through. So I think coming back, musicians have all kinds of art forms have a responsibility to really guide the general public and like people who are consuming that media,
Right.
to really know about these topics, and like there
Right.
should be more awareness about these things.
Wow.
And yeah, I think that's about it.
Thank you for saying that. Actually, my questions were very simple, but the way you've answered, I am not kidding.
Yeah.
That was very wise of you, Aryaendra.
Thank you.
And I think the people who are listening, I'm sure you're inspired by what he just said, and he has clearly been very honest. He didn't tell you the sugar coated version of how he got here.
These are all my own experiences, and like my
Yeah.
friends' experiences as well.
Yes, so I think I agree with it. I'm sure if you're out there and you have some dreams, I think Aryaendra is one of them that you can see and say, okay, this is one example, and if he can do it, we can also do it, right?
Yeah.
And just one last thing, what can we look forward to next? Because first of all, I am a fan of all his songs, and I'm always thinking अभी next कौन सा होगा, because जब आप किसी को किसी का music इतना पसंद करते हैं, तो you're always excited about the next. So
Yeah.
अभी what is your thing going like? How is it going? What is happening? Are you working on something? Maybe you can give a little bit of
Yeah.
information just to.
So for 2024, we have about a bank of like 7-8 songs that we want to put out,
Oh.
and like it
Wow.
it may or may not turn into an album later, but not spilling the beans right now. But yeah, keep an eye out for the new stuff. It's a new way of writing. We are more inspired than ever. The band is like more closer than ever, and like we found our sound a lot more in a much more defined way at this point, and we do have something really special planned. So listen to our latest song called Parvaz. You can stream it, and like watch out for the next album. So yeah, that's all.
So
I want
thank
to
you,
say.
Arvind, for
Thank you so
doing
much,
this.
Aita, for having me.
Yeah, it's actually an honor for me that someone like him, who was my friend, has made it so big. So I'm actually very proud of you,
Okay.
and I appreciate you for understanding that your music has an impact on people. I appreciate you that your songs bloom with hope and some kind of peace, some kind of happiness, rather than just like going towards the darker side of life, जो कि already है.
Yeah, you
बहुत
can
लोग हैं आपको
you can
depressed.
embrace. Yeah, you can embrace both sides of life.
Yeah, and exactly, not to just give up on it, but to embrace it.
Exactly,
Wow.
yeah.
So thank you, and I hope कि हम जल्दी कुछ नया सुनेंगे. और अगर आपने नहीं सब्सक्राइब किया है, YouTube पे भी आप जा सकते हैं, आप Spotify पे जा
Yes,
सकते हैं.
go everywhere, guys.
Where else? All the options,
सारे platforms हैं.
He's
You
there.
all know about
So,
it already. So.
Thank you. Dream big, and yeah, I'll see you again.
Thank you, guys.